We should be ready to go. There you are. Hunter?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of The Backups, the football podcast. I'm Hunter, and we're joined with Trevor and Cato. And today we're doing a mock draft. But first, we're going to start with some NFL news. Trevor, you want to hit us on that?
Not too much news going on right now this week. We already hit you with all the free agency news, which was a lot of fun. So we did get some news today that the draft is staying on schedule, according to Roger Goodell, which is kind of a big deal because teams haven't had the chance to really evaluate the players in person. Like some of the players that didn't get to go to the combine and stuff like that really miss out. Then like different physicals and pro days really just hurts a lot of players' draft stock, or people might be overdrafted or underdrafted. Second, we've got coronavirus donations by the different NFL players. And really cool to see them do that, helping out the communities around their area. And I just really commend them for that, so we wanted to put that in there.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. The draft's going to be different this year because normally it's like a big spectacle. There's, thousands of people in there doing all sorts of different things. It's going to look very different this year. Maybe it won't be as big of a deal as we thought it was going to be with the boat in Vegas and all that stuff. But
True.
But still going to happen. It's still going to happen on schedule. It is going to be strange, though. Like you said, haven't had much time for evaluation. So hopefully they've been watching our podcast.
Hope so.
Damn right.
But you boys want to hop right into this?
Let's do it.
So today we're doing a mock. Hunter will be picking first. Trevor will be picking second, and I'll be picking third. Then we'll rotate like that till the end, which is really a shame because I don't get a last pick. But
that was by design.
That was by design. Well, I mean, Hunter didn't get the last pick last time, and as everyone who listens to this podcast knows, I am the best football mind of the three of us. So
yeah, whatever you say, buddy.
Just got jokes, peeps. It's fun.
Anyways, Hunter, number 1, the Cincinnati Bengals. Who do you think they're going at 1, Hunter?
All right, so to kick off our mock draft 2.0, the Bengals are going to be taking Joe Burrow. I know, surprise everybody. But the best quarterback in the draft goes to the worst team. So, all in all, it just makes too much sense. Unless they get stupid and trade out, but I just don't see that happening.
Nope. I don't think that there's anybody they trade to. I mean, these first few picks are pretty much locks anyway, so. Sure. Trevor, number 2.
We got the Washington Redskins. We're going to add to that defensive line. We're going to go to Chase Young, which has been the consensus pick for about a month and a half, 2 months now. He'll add a lot of freaking versatility on that line across from Montez Sweat, a first-round pick for them last year, with Daron Payne, I think it was a first-round pick 2 years ago, and Jonathan Allen as well. So that D-line should be unstoppable next season.
Yeah. At 3, we've got the Detroit Lions. We're going to go Jeff Okudah. I think that this is a pick that everybody is pretty much picking right now. Plus Darius Slay, they just let go of him. So they got to fill a cornerback hole. They've had to fill a cornerback hole for a while. Okudah just makes sense there. At number 3. Number 4, Hunter.
Number 4, we got the New York Giants. We're going to be taking Isaiah Simmons here. There have been reports floating around that the Giants brass is super interested in Simmons. He fills that hole they have at backer and just gives them a nice chess piece for their defense, which in this day and age is never a bad thing to have.
Yeah, I think Gettleman likes a guy like Simmons anyway. I think it makes sense.
I think I'd personally go tackle there, but I don't think
Same.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, I've been mocking a lot of tackles there too. But like I think it like if Gettleman's not going to pick a big ass like 6'7", 500-pound tackle, he'll pick a linebacker, somebody who's going to be rangy out there. So
that guy's a freak of nature.
For real. Trevor, who you got at 5?
5th pick, we've got the Miami Dolphins. It's been known that they've been taking for this guy for over a season now. They almost messed it up, but since Tua got hurt, it knocked him down, and then Joe Burrow having an amazing season. But at 5, we've got Tua Tagovailoa out of Alabama. Hawaii kid, lefty. He's accurate as he could be. As long as his medicals are fine, he should be a really good starter right out of the gate in the NFL. Should be just a Drew Brees clone. I really liked his pick for them.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Question before we move on. So there have been rumors floating around that the Miami is more interested in Justin Herbert because they haven't been able to get Tua in there for a workout. Do you think that's a legitimate pick or more of a smokescreen idea?
Oh, that's smokescreen. That's right up everybody's asses. There's no way.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit. They love to of course that's a great excuse that they haven't been able to get him in there because of injury concerns, this and that. Now Corona's coming through, but I think they pick Tua there like that's a no-brainer. I think that they go Tua there. I think that they just don't want to trade up.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. At number 6, you've got the Chargers. I think the Chargers are actually going to go OT at this pick. A lot of mocks go Justin Herbert here, but I have a feeling that the Chargers will go after Cam Newton, give Tyrod Taylor a little bit of competition at the QB position. So I think that they're going to go Jedrick Wills out of Alabama. Great pass protector, and I think it'll be good for that system.
I like that pick.
I like that.
Since they lost Russell Okung, and they can pair him with Trey Turner, I think is his name.
Yeah,
should be a really good O-line for whatever quarterback's playing for them next year.
So
yeah.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. Hunter, what you got at 7, brother?
At pick 7, I'm going to have the Carolina Panthers picking Derek Brown.
Yeah.
They just lost Gerald McCoy and Dontari Poe, both to the Cowboys in free agency, and so they need to bolster the inside of that defensive line. And there's no one better in this draft to do that with than Derek Brown.
That one stings. I think he might be my favorite player in this draft. And he's going to one of our rivals, or one of the Falcons' rivals.
I like it. It gives Matt Rule a nice cornerstone piece.
Oh, it's a great pick for them.
All right. Number 8, the Arizona Cardinals. Trevor, what you got?
All right, with the Cardinals, they got a great wide receiver, one of the best in the league in free agency. Well, not even free agency, they traded for him. So we're going to go with Jedrick Wills out of Iowa, who had a really good combine. He's a left tackle. Excuse me. Who did I say? That's my bad.
Anyways, Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa.
Yes, Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. He plays right tackle for them, but he's going to play left tackle in NFL. He should be just a plug-and-play starter. Great combine. Just a real athlete at that position, and it should give Kyler Murray a lot of help on that left side.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick there. Going to bolster that offensive line, make sure Kyler Murray doesn't get hit so damn much.
Nice.
Number 9, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They could go a lot of different things here. They could go Ken Law. They could go C.J. Henderson. I think that they're going to go quarterback. Justin Herbert's fallen to 9, and I think that they're going to see that as a steal. Plus, I don't know how much faith they have in Gardner Minshew, but I don't have much faith in him. Plus, the loss of Nick Foles in the offseason, I think it makes sense to fill the QB spot there. So Justin Herbert goes to Jacksonville at 9.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup for them. I don't really have a lot of faith in Minshew, and I don't think they were expecting Justin Herbert to fall as low as he does right there. And so I think at that point, you just kind of have to grab that QB talent.
I think it's a decent pick for them, but looking at the draft order, he might fall to their second first-round pick, depending on how – I mean, we're not doing any trades, so I don't think anybody really has a need till their next pick. So I think it's an overall good pick, though. I mean, they have to get their quarterback sometime.
Yeah.
I just don't think Herbert being the number 3 quarterback that he is and potentially a long-term starter for a team is going to fall all the way to pick 20. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on needs, I think. You just look at, like, the teams that fall between 9 and 20.
I mean, the Raiders maybe is what I see. I'm just speaking out loud.
Yeah, that's fair.
Number 10, what you got, Hunter?
10, I got the Cleveland Browns taking Mekhi Becton, the starting left tackle at Louisville. That big son of a bitch is going to get out there and protect Baker Mayfield. Him and Jack Conklin are going to give them nice bookends for that offensive line, and we'll be able to keep Baker upright this season.
Yeah, agreed. Mekhi Becton is huge.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Mekhi Becton is a big old boy. What, 6'7", 360 something. I've been big on him since a while, since before our first mock. But Mekhi Becton, I think he fits really well right there in that Cleveland offensive line.
Yeah, I think he's one of the bigger boomer bust picks in this first round. He could be just a perennial freaking Pro Bowler if his traits work out, but he could just be an absolute bust. And Baker Mayfield could still be running for his life. I think I'm going to be optimistic and say he does work out pretty well, but we will see. And then going into our next pick, we got the New York Jets, who have failed to get any kind of quality offensive tackle in free agency. So we're going to go Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. This guy specializes in run blocking, but his pass blocking is really good too. I like this guy a lot. He should really help Sam Darnold, one of the worst O-lines in the league, gets another good piece.
Yeah, that's perfect. I got nothing else to say about that. At number 12, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. I think it's likely they go receiver here. I think Jerry Jeudy's still my wide receiver 1, but I think that they could go any of the top 3, that being Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, or Henry Ruggs. It wouldn't surprise me if any of the 3 of them were the first receiver off the board. But people have been really high on CeeDee Lamb recently, so I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb here at 12, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma. I've said what I need to say about him, but he's incredible. Everything that he does, it's tight, it's well done. He's a great football player. So,
yeah,
I like that pick a lot.
It's a good pick, especially if he does end up being even remotely as good as his pro comp in D-Hop. So, good pickup for them.
Yeah. 13?
At 13, so this was originally the Colts pick, but they ended up trading it to the Niners in that DeForest Buckner trade. And so I'm going to have the Niners right here picking Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
Most people's number 1 in the draft. He's got the crispest routes in the drafts and some of the best hands. All in all, he gives them a perfect replacement for Emmanuel Sanders that they just lost in free agency.
Yeah.
Honestly, this pick is terrifying for the NFC. Putting him with Kyle Shanahan would be deadly.
Yeah, that's terrifying to me. And especially with the loss of Emmanuel Sanders, it makes sense.
Yep.
Coming into this season. So.
All right, next we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know. I don't really think anyone really knows where they're going to go with this pick. Everyone really thinks they need tackles to protect Tom Brady. I mean, he can't move that well. But I ended up going BPA, and I went with Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina, DT. This guy, he's not far behind Derek Brown. He's explosive. He's got more of a pass rush move than Derek Brown, but he's not quite as powerful as Derek Brown. But all in all, this guy will be a game changer for Tampa Bay on that D-line that already has Shaquille Barrett and JPP on it.
Yeah, incredibly nice pickup for them. Some could argue that you could go receiver or tackle there, like you were saying. But I don't think there's anything wrong with this pickup. Javon Kinlaw is one of the best players in the draft. So it's a nice pickup for them.
Yeah, agreed. At number 15, we've got the Denver Broncos. I think that they've gotten very lucky here. Henry Ruggs has fallen to 15, which is just a team need thing. But putting him alongside Cortland Sutton in Denver, give Drew Lock another weapon. I think it's a good look for Denver. I love this pick. And that's a little scary, giving a little more something to the AFC West aside from the weapons in Kansas City. Henry Ruggs could be something. So
that's sneakily one of my favorite picks that we did in this mock draft. Like Henry Ruggs to Denver would be so much fun.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun, and Drew Lock would have a lot of fun with that too.
I think so too.
Number 16, I've got the Atlanta Falcons picking Kayvon Chaisson, the defensive hybrid piece out of LSU. You can line up as an edge defender. You can line him up as a strong side backer. He can do it all. The Falcons just have a lot of holes on defense, and picking Chaisson here would give Dan Quinn a nice chess piece on there. If you plug him in as a strong side backer, he's going to fill in for Devondre Campbell. If you play him at edge, he can rotate in with Tack and Dante Fowler, who they just picked up in free agency.
Trevor, you were saying you had a different opinion on this pick?
Yeah, I like this pick. It's not where I would go. I think cornerback is to me by far the biggest need here. And I like CJ Henderson a lot. I got to scout him, and this kid's really good. And with Desmond Trufant leaving, he was taking over the left side of the defense, right side of the offense. I think there's a huge hole there, especially with Isaiah Oliver going into his third year, and he had like a 55 grade on PFF. And then Kendall Sheffield's coming into his second season. But as far as Caleb Chason goes, this kid is so good. If it wasn't for Chase Young, he might be the best pass rushing edge in this draft. Really athletic, can do a lot of things. He can cover out in space as well. I really like Caleb Bond.
Yeah, I mean, if they do go edge, or if Kinlaw were to fall to them here or something like that with their first rounder, they could always do somebody like Jalen Johnson in the second round, maybe like AJ Terrell if he gets there. I could see them like picking like a tier 2 cornerback and still filling that need pretty well. So I do like the Chase on pick. Trevor, who you got at 17 for the Dallas?
We got the Dallas Cowboys. Well, with them losing Byron Jones, I went with C.J. Henderson, who I just talked about. This guy's press coverage is, it would be top in this class, in my opinion, if it wasn't for Jeffrey Okudah, who Okudah's insane. I know we didn't talk about him too much, but Okudah's just a monster. CJ, he does have a couple lapses in coverage sometimes. I will say that. But as far as just almost every down, he is right in the receiver's face with good coverage, and I like this pick a lot for Dallas.
Yeah. All right, at 18, we've got the Miami Dolphins. I think their biggest need is tackle, but I don't really like any of the other tackles in the first round that much, or at least not at 18, maybe at 26. So I'm going to go running back here, DeAndre Swift at 18 to Miami. He's more versatile than I think the other backs at the top of the draft. I think he's like he is graded really similarly to J.K. Dobbins for me. And I know a lot of people have been high on Jonathan Taylor, but I think Swift can just do it all, which is why I think he'll be a good piece in Miami's offense.
Yeah, I really like that pick there, especially because they just signed Jordan Howard. And the thing about Swift, there's some criticisms about him that he might need a second guy to split carries with in order to be as effective. And if that's the case, Jordan Howard gives them that guy. So at that point, they have the perfect 1-2 punch in the backfield, kind of similar to what the Saints had with Kamara and Ingram.
Yeah, I completely agree. He should be a really good addition to that backfield with Tua and Jordan Howard. All right, next we have Hunter with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, so the Raiders, this is normally where I would have gone Kenneth Murray or Patrick Queen, but instead they are going to be taking Christian Fulton, the cornerback out of LSU. They fixed a lot of their linebacking needs in free agency with the addition of Corey Littleton. And I think they still have a big hole at corner, especially playing in the AFC West with all the talented receivers that they do play against. And Christian Fulton has the most prototypical size of a corner, in this new NFL. Sorry, I stumbled on my words right there for a second. But I think it's a nice pickup for them, and will give them a good long-term piece at corner.
Yeah, agreed.
You have to have corners in that division now with Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for real. And who knows? Maybe Tyrod Taylor will start terrorizing the division too.
Yeah, don't put your money on that one, guys. All right, next
Trevor,
we got
20.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville Jaguars. Decided to add another weapon after they got Justin Herbert with their first pick. I went Justin Jefferson to pair him with another LSU guy, DJ Chark. Jefferson is, if it wasn't for Jerry Jeudy, might be the most crisp route runner in this draft. And he ended up running faster than anybody was expecting. I think he ran in the 4.4s. I'm not sure if it was high or low in the 4.4s. Good hands. Should just be a man beater this entire time and find some open space. Should be a really good pickup for good old Jaguars.
Yeah, agreed. I think the receiving core could use some work in Jacksonville, and giving Justin Herbert a weapon, especially Justin Jefferson, who's a great athlete. I think he's a good receiver at 20. I think that's good space for him.
Nice pick up there. I really like Jefferson in that pick. I think that's the perfect slot for him. So, nice pick up there.
Yeah. At number 21, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. There's a couple people I could go here. We still do have on the board Denzel Mims, T. Higgins, Laviska Shenault. I'm not super crazy on Denzel Mims, although he did have a great combine. I didn't love his tape when I watched him. He was, I don't know. It just wasn't really for me. I like a more prototypical X receiver. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles will go with T. Higgins here at number 21, wide receiver out of Clemson. He's big. He's got catch radius, and he can be really physical with some of these corners and safeties, especially in the NFC East. So I think it'll be good. I think T. Higgins will be a good pick there at 21.
I think with Higgins, I guess with Philly, they don't have a lot of fast players, so T. Higgins might be with the speed they're looking for. Sure. But as far as just giving Carson Wentz a target, T. Higgins can catch just about everything.
Right.
Jump balls, his catch radius is just pretty much elite in this class. I really like that pick. Maybe they can find a speedier wide receiver later. I do think a sneaky thing is their left tackle, Jason Peters, is a free agent. I think he'll re-sign there. I don't think it's too big of a risk that he doesn't come back. We'll find out. But I think overall this is a good pick for them.
Yeah, that might be a little high on taking there on T. Higgins there for me. After his pro day was a little underwhelming to a lot of scouts. But I don't think you can go wrong with that pick there. It gives Carson Wentz, like you said, a good number one receiver. I think at that point I might take Mims over Higgins, but I don't think you can go wrong with either one, depending on which one you want to go for.
At number 22, the Minnesota Vikings. Who we got? Hunter?
I'm going to have them taking Gross Matos Yeter from Penn State.
All right.
I think you're on the wrong Minnesota pick, brother.
Did I read my notes wrong? Oops,
I think you did.
My bad. I'm gonna have them take Jeff Gladney here. I'm so sorry. I have both Minnesota picks.
Jeff Gladney. This one's been a lot rougher than the past two. I'll tell you that. But we're making it through this mock. I swear to God, coronavirus can't stop us. Skype mocks forever.
But yeah, Gladney, I like this pick here. They lost all three of their top corners in free agency, so you need to replace them somehow. And Gladney gives them some versatility to play in that defensive secondary.
Yeah, and you're pretty high on Gladney, is that right? Don't you have him graded above Christian Fulton?
Yeah, Gladney's actually my cornerback 2 ahead of C.J. Henderson also.
Damn.
Yeah, Gladney. The only thing with Gladney is his size. I think he's 5'10". But I'm not sure how much he weighs. But as far as like actual coverages, it's really good. I like Gladney a lot, and he's got big shoes to fill in the late great Xavier Rhodes, Mr. Pro Bowl last year. Yeah, no one knows how that happened. He had a rough season. Next, we're gonna go with New England Patriots. I believe. Yes. I'm going to go with Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma. He's a linebacker. This guy can cover from sideline to sideline. He can rush the passer. He is unbelievably fast. If it wasn't for Isaiah Simmons, this guy would be drafted way higher. I like this guy a lot. He should be a really good piece for good old Bill Belichick's defense and should keep terrorizing the AFC East.
Yeah, that's scary to me, being a Bills fan, to think about Kenneth Murray coming to our division, because I've watched a lot of film on him, and he's explosive. Man, he can, like you said, he'll terrorize some offenses. and I think he'll step in and be a great day one starter coming onto that Patriots defense. So I love that pick there for them. Don't love it for me, but for them. Number 24, got the New Orleans Saints. Most of the time I go linebacker here, and Patrick Queen is still on the board. But for the sake of the mock, I think that I'm going to go Jordan Love, quarterback out of Utah State. I'm actually higher on Jordan Love still than Herbert. I think potential, but I know pretty much like every NFL scout is looking at Herbert as a top 10 pick. I think this is a pick for New Orleans here. Drew Brees did just sign, I think, what was it, 2 years to go back. And I'm not sure that Taysom Hill is the quarterback of the future in New Orleans. So I think a Jordan Love pick here, put him behind Drew Brees and let him develop into the great quarterback I think he can be. I think that that's a good pick here at 24.
Yeah, I really like that pickup as a fan of Jordan Love. Him going and sitting behind Breeze, learning from one of the smartest quarterbacks of all time, and being able to play for Sean Payton, who's one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. That's a perfect situation for him. As a Falcons fan, it kind of sucks long term.
Yeah.
That gives them a potential another 15 years of a great quarterback. However, all in all, it's a nice pickup for them. And if I'm the Saints, I'd be very happy if that's where my first round pick went.
Well, this is where I disagree. I always have a player that comes back and bites me, and this one might be it, but I am not a huge Jordan Love guy. I will say I was wrong on Josh Allen 2 drafts ago, and I was wrong on Lamar Jackson 2 drafts ago as well. So this one could be another one. I'm just not sold on him, especially this early. I don't know what I would do if I were the Saints as far as QB goes because I'm not a Taysom Hill guy, but I personally would not go Jordan Love. But hey, we'll see if I'm wrong.
See.
Probably
Hunter,
will be. It always happens.
Yep. Hunter, you about to make your favorite pick at 25?
I was so excited. I picked this one a couple picks ago. At 25, the Vikings are going to be picking Gross Matos from Penn State. The freak off the edge. He has all the traits you're looking for in an NFL defensive end. And he's just an absolute monster off the edge. Everson Griffin's currently a free agent, so we're not sure if the Vikings. He's also 32. So if he comes back, you still have to get younger there anyway. If he doesn't come back, you have Gross Matos who's going to replace him. So I like this pickup a lot. What do you guys think?
I love it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's picked like 5 or 6 picks before this, or even higher than that. This guy's an athlete. He's got power as well. I don't think he'll be that great in coverage if they ever ask him to do that. But as far as just rushing the passer and helping with the run, this guy should be really good for Minnesota.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's a perfect pick to fill some holes there. Number 26.
The good old Miami Dolphins.
And we're back.
Third pick. I went Josh Jones out of Houston after they lost Laremy. Well, they didn't lose Laremy Tunsil. They traded him away. They still have a big hole at tackle, and you have to protect your new quarterback in Tua. So Josh Jones, he comes from Houston. He's not on the same level as our top 4. He's a second-tier guy for sure. I think it should be a really solid pick for them. Hopefully he pans out and should just really help out that offense with Tua, DeAndre Swift, and then him locking up that tackle spot.
Yeah, I'm not super high on any of the Tier 2 tackles. My highest Tier 2 tackle, like outside that top 4, is Lucas Niang out of TCU. But I also just love these like monstrosities of tackles, like big dudes. Lucas Niang is 6'7", 320 something, I think. So he would be my pick if anyone here. But it does fill a hole. I mean, and Miami is going to have to reach there, I think, at 26 to get a tackle. But yeah, I do think it's a pretty big fall off after those top 4 that we had go all in the like top 11. So, but it does make sense here for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I really like this pick. Josh Jones is my highest rated of the Tier 2 tackles. I watched him in the Senior Bowl, and the dude just balled, handling all competition that was thrown against him. And I think he's going to be very good to keep Tua upright.
Yeah. Number 27, we have the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not super high on AJ Epineza, but they do have an edge rusher need, and I think Epineza fills it well. He's a power rusher, not too quick around the edge, but I think Hunter said before, like an 8 or 10 sack guy, similar to what they've had before. I think that he can fill a hole there, and I think 27 is a fine landing spot for him. But it is crazy that he was going as high as 11, 12, 13 a month and a half ago. I mean, we were even like, we had some mocks going, not our mocks, but there were mocks sending him to the Jets at like 11. So he's dropped quite a bit over the past month and a half, considering his combine and all of that. Didn't do very many reps. I think 17 reps on the bench. Ran like a 5-second 40. So, but I think 27 is a fine landing spot for him.
Yeah, he's not known for his like overall athleticism. He's more of a power guy. I think this pick really hinges on where Jadeveon Clowney goes if he re-signs with them, which I think he will, unless somebody really ponies up for some money. But I think I saw where he turned down $17 million from Miami.
Insane.
So yeah, we'll see. I think he'll end up back with Seattle, and even if he does go back, I mean, AJ Epinesa on the other side wouldn't be too bad of a pick for them.
Yeah, I've always been super high on AJ Epinesa, so I really like this pickup for Seattle. I do think he isn't necessarily the most athletically gifted player in this draft class, as we saw at the Combine, but on film, he's one of those guys that he's just going to sit there and bull rush you at the tackle position, and on long passing downs, you can kick him inside in a nickel set and have him pass rushing from the 3 tech. So, all in all, I like the pickup a lot, and he's kind of similar to Clowney in the same way you would scheme them, at least in my opinion.
Yep.
All right, number 28, Hunter. Who you got here for the Baltimore Ravens?
So this is an absolute steal for the Baltimore Ravens since Patrick Queen is still on the board. That's going to be my pick. They get a super rangy, athletic LSU linebacker there. He's going to come in and just immediately step right in and be a day one starter in that Ravens defense. I don't know why I was about to say Patriots. I'm having a rough day. Sorry.
Yeah. I like the pick. It honestly is just terrifying because everyone saw in the regular season how good that Ravens squad was. And then you add a player like Patrick Queen to that defense, and they're just going to be even more formidable. This guy, another sideline guy, good tackler, just leader on defense. And I think this will be a really good pickup for Baltimore.
Yeah, agreed. All right, 29. Trevor, you got to pick for the Tennessee Titans.
The old Titans. The surprise of the season last year. Good old Titans. I think they could have gone a few directions. With Derrick Henry's future not really in place, I think he will be back with the team. And Dion Lewis left, so you could go running back, but I think they can fill the Dion Lewis role later on. And Logan Ryan, who's a corner for them, is leaving, so I went with Trevon Diggs out of Alabama. He's not in this top-tier corner, but he should be just a solid corner for them. I don't know how well he'll do on number one wide receivers, but he should be able to lock down most teams too. And I just really like this pick for Tennessee, especially if they lose Logan Ryan.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup for them. I really like Trevon Diggs a lot as a player. I think he's my 6th ranked corner. I just don't quite remember. But I like that pickup for them. Yeah,
Trevon Diggs, I mean, is, like you said, clearly in that second tier of corners, but I think 29 is not a reach for him at all. In fact, he might have fallen actually a little bit due to like positional needs and stuff like that. So that's a good pick for Tennessee. At pick number 30, I think that Green Bay is going to go wide receiver. They had Devontae Adams catching fucking 18 passes a game last season. He was just targets after targets after targets. And I think another piece to add to that offense would be excellent. Denzel Mims is still on the board, but I did say I'm not too high on him. I think adding Laviska Shenault would be the best thing they could do here. Laviska Shenault's just an offensive weapon. I saw some tape today where he was running out of the Wildcat. I mean, he can play back. He can do all sorts of things, play slot, play inside, play outside, and he is as fast as can be. His 40 time didn't really reflect that, but his quickness on tape is really like out of this world. His feet are fast, so I think Laviska Shenault is a good pick here for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I love that pick. You gotta get Aaron Rodgers as many weapons as you can if you're gonna try to make another push for the Super Bowl this season with him. And Chenault's a perfect example of that.
Agreed. All right, San Francisco at pick number 31. Hunter, who are you going?
All right, so before I make this pick, I'm going to make it very clear. I think the Niners are very likely to trade out of this pick because they don't have very much draft capital in this draft. However, we aren't doing trades, so I'm going to have them take Xavier McKinney from Alabama to help fill the hole in the defensive secondary.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, Xavier McKinney is BPA. I'm shocked that he's fallen this far. It's possible that we could see 2 or even 3 safeties, I think, in the first round. So Xavier McKinney here, although that they might be trading out of this pick, I think that that's a steal.
Yeah, this pick, I mean, out of the list we've gone through so far, is one of my favorites. Xavier McKinney is one of my favorite players to watch on film. He's rangy as he can be, good ball skills, and I think he'll be deadly with San Francisco. And then the last pick of the first round, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champs. I wasn't too sure where to go with them here. I ended up going with a secondary piece. I went with A.J. Terrell out of Clemson. So some of y'all might be thinking I'm crazy, but if you watch any other game besides the national championship game, I promise you this gets good. Especially for the players that have already gone off the board and the positional value. I think A.J. Terrell should be able to cover just fine. He just had one bad half, really, in that national championship game, and I think this would be a really solid pick.
Yeah, I mean, I do like A.J. Terrell here. They will be looking for a cornerback sometime in these first couple of rounds. I have Jalen Johnson over A.J. Terrell personally, but A.J. Terrell could be a good pick here. I know Hunter's not too high on A.J. Terrell either. Normally, I mock a running back to Kansas City, but it's always possible that they could look at that offense and say, yeah, I think we're good here on offensive weapons. I think we can find one of those tier 2 backs in maybe round 2, 3, maybe even 4. Maybe like an Ian Benjamin type, something like that, that they can pick up and add to that offense. So I think cornerback here is a good look.
Yeah,
I kind of like Damian Williams for them, though. I mean, a lot of people were giving him MVP nods for that Super Bowl because he had a really good game. I think he's a little underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go running back here, but personally, I'm not a big A.J. Terrell guy at all. I've made that clear before. The pick I'd probably go is probably interior lineman with Cesar Ruiz, but that's also just me thinking the trenches are very important. But
True.
Yeah.
I also just am not high on Terrell at all, but I don't think that's a bad pick at the corner.
Yeah, I could see Cesar Ruiz there too. That could be a good pick. Well, dang, we just really flew through that mock draft. I'll save this one and I'll get it up. I'll put the link on Twitter. But as we close out, I did see a tweet the other day. I sent it to you boys. I thought it might be a good think piece for our little podcast here. Stephon Diggs tweeted top 5 wide receivers go. Wide receivers ever. And it had lots and lots and lots of replies. Scouts, random people on the internet. But I would love to hear the top 5 receivers from you boys. I'll be sure to say mine too.
Yeah. Trevor, you want to get started on this one?
Yeah, I'll start. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in my early 20s, so I haven't seen a lot of the guys. So a lot of the guys that y'all think, or some of y'all might think, should be on this list, I may not even put on here. But from the ones I've seen, there's only one I haven't seen is Jerry Rice, but I think it's kind of consensus that he's probably the best of all time. But as far as I've seen, I love Julio. I gotta go Julio. Calvin Johnson. Randy Moss, and let's go a little Larry Fitzgerald. I think would be my top 5.
Respect.
Cool.
Nice. So my top 5 is gonna be Jerry Rice because he's just incredible. I went through this weird little phase in like middle school and early high school where I would just watch like those old Niners teams winning the Super Bowls because they were just so fun to watch.
You're made for this podcast.
I hate it. But they were so fun to watch, led by Montana and Young. But every time you'd watch it, you'd see Jerry Rice just pop off and just be the absolute best receiver that I think the world will have ever seen. Number 2, I got Randy Moss, who's just an absolute freak of nature. And you saw him in his Vikings days and his Patriots days. He just dismantled everybody that he went up against corner-wise. There's the one game, I think it was his rookie season, where he had the 3 receptions for 160 yards and 3 touchdowns. And if that doesn't explain what Randy Moss was as an athlete, I don't know what else does.
Right.
Number 3, Terrell Owens. And you can say what you want about his personality and his attitude about the game. But the dude was legit. He was one of the best for a long time. And the fact that him and Ocho Cinco, Ocho Cinco's not on my list, but the fact him and Ocho Cinco both try to still like get tryouts and stuff with NFL teams when they're both sitting here right around 40 is incredible, and it shows how much they love the game and
Real
how
quick,
good they still are.
Which one of them tried to be a kicker in the XFL?
Ocho Cinco. Ocho Cinco actually grew up playing soccer.
Okay.
Gone pro in soccer. At least that's what he says. I don't know how true that is. But yeah, my number 4 receiver on this list is Larry Fitzgerald. I actually got into a discussion with one of our listeners earlier, Jordan Titshaw. Shout out to you. But he was asking me why I felt Fitzgerald is in the top 5. And my argument was the incredible consistency in hands and route running ability that he has. He's nothing really more than a possession receiver, but he's also the best possession receiver at that. He's never really had great consistent quarterback play. He's really only had good quarterback play in probably 5 of his 15 years in the NFL. And the fact he's still top 3 or 4 all-time in numbers is unheard of. And then my 5th pick, a little bit biased, but I'm going to go Julio Jones here. He does everything Calvin Johnson does with a bit more urgency or not urgency, but a bit more explosiveness in his game. Julio is incredible to watch. He's kind of like a mix of Moss and Megatron, but I love being able to watch him play.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to go number 1, Jerry Rice. I mean, I think that's the consensus here among football fans, to be honest. Jerry Rice is incredible. Jerry Rice is the GOAT as of right now. Number 2, I'm actually going to go T.O. I think Terrell Owens is gifted, like you said. He did have attitude issues, but like being able to watch him play, and like I remember watching him play for the Cowboys, even like when I was a kid, and I remember him being so like just on a different level, and getting to watch him play was incredible. 3, I will go Moss though. I think that's a pretty close 2 and 3 for me. Moss's athletic ability and the way he would pick apart defenses, like you said, that like damn near changed the game for receivers. I mean, this entire class of receivers, I'm sure, are little Randy Moss fanboys, because for real, because these receivers are the ones that grew up watching him and stuff like that, playing for the Vikings, playing for the Patriots. So I'd imagine that he's had a really big impact on the game. Number four, I'll go Megatron. I'm a little biased. I was a big Megatron fan in college. He went to Georgia Tech, who I grew up cheering for, but getting to watch him play for the Lions, although he had a short career, which I think changes the perspective a little bit. Although he had a short career, I think he's absolutely incredible. Such a gifted receiver athletically. Hands the size of like LeBron James's hands. I mean, basketball player hands that can catch anything. So I'll go him at 4. And then number 5, I'm gonna say Julio. I'm gonna say Julio because I mean it. But I think honorable mentions for number 5 still could be Marvin Harrison, who played for the Colts with Peyton Manning. I think honorable mention for number 5 could be Ocho Cinco. I think Ocho Cinco is insane. Watching him, Ocho Cinco's feet. Like I think he's one of the most. I think he's one of the most physically gifted receivers ever. I don't want to call him the best, and that's why I didn't put him at 5. But I think Ocho Cinco is so physically gifted. And or Larry Fitzgerald, like you said, a consistent good possession receiver. Maybe his lack of good quarterbacks kind of took away from what his career could have been, and he still had an amazing statistical career. But I will go Julio at 5, with a little bit of Atlanta bias too.
Nice.
All right. I will say that I did not rank mine in order. That was just the top 5 off the top of my head. And I think we're going to close this out. We'll thank you all for listening. We'll try and get you another one here soon.
Remember, follow us on Twitter at the Backups Cast.
At the Backups Cast.
Tell other football
we do want to give a shout out to Skype for keeping us connected during social distancing. Shout out Skype for giving us a way to do a little recording.
And shout out to the fans. Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to the fans.
Yes, thank you.
Follow us on Twitter at the Backups Cast. We now have everything that we've done so far up on YouTube. You can look up the Backups Cast. It'll come up. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and our podcast hosting service, Podbean, which are all linked at the YouTube channel as well as our Twitter. So thank you for listening. Have a good evening and good night.